So let me now go into the system. I'm in a trial environment, so there is like, well, fake data in there. So let's start with the modern advanced find, and let me navigate to just one entity, which is opportunity. So starting off, to set up an advanced find is either from the sitemap, like any entity you have in here, but you might want to look at entities that are not available in the sitemap. So the other option would be to go via the Dataverse search. I'm going to show you in a minute like what this does. So in my case, I would go to opportunities, and it takes me to my default view. So working with modern advanced find, I always start from any view, preferably from a view that is like pretty similar to the view that I want to regenerate or create for myself. You can see that the filter icon on the top right is not available anymore. So how do I rework the filter? Currently, I'm looking at all opportunities, and that is not what I want. I want my personal view filtering on specific information. So over here on the top, you have like two buttons. One is edit columns, self-explaining, and edit filters. So first of all, when setting up my personal view, I click on edit filters, and basically how to set it up. It looks a little bit different than in the legacy advanced find, but like from how to set it up, it is basically exactly the same. So I click on add, and now I can add a row, I can add a group like and or, and I can also look for related entities that are related to, in this case, my opportunities. So in my case, I want to look for, I don't know, opportunities where I am the owner. And I want to look for opportunities where the status is open, like won and lost opportunities I'm not interested in. Open, and then I also want to only see opportunities of accounts where I'm the owner. So I would now add a related entity. I can now select the related entity to the opportunity, and all of them show. So I'm going to go for accounts, and then I go for owner. It's just like a very simple view, just so you see like how to set up the filters in general. But obviously, the views, as usual, like they can get very complex depending on the filter you're looking for. And also, I'm obviously only interested in accounts that are active. Okay, so this would be my filter. And I could even go even deeper in, like I could now add a related entity to the account and then like build that filter up. So from a technical perspective, it's pretty much the same as it was in the legacy advanced find. It just, the look and feel is a little bit different. And I personally, I prefer this look and feel, to be honest. The other one was very like old school. So once I have set up my filter to my needs, I would click apply on the bottom, and my the results of my view change immediately. As you can see, I have a little asterisk over here next to the name of the originating view. The asterisk basically shows me either I'm in a default view or I'm in a view that I have modified and that is not saved yet. So what I personally usually do is, like, when I set up a filter, I review my columns, and I can now even edit the columns. And over here, the pane opens up, and I can either, like, let's say I don't want to see the actual revenue, not interested in it. So you can just click on it and say remove. And the probability, I want to move forward. So there is two options of doing that. You can either use like move up, or if I'm here, it's also move down, obviously. I personally prefer to do it with like drag and drop. It's faster. Adding a column, pretty easy. Like by default, it shows you all the fields available in the entity that I'm looking at, which is Opportunity Now. You can also add columns from other entities that are related to the opportunity. And I would go for, I don't know, I want to add the field Sales Manager out of the related account. And that is like one of the biggest benefits to me personally, because you might know that in many entities, you have so many fields, and the Legacy Advanced Find, you had to scroll down and search for the fields all the time, not finding them immediately. So in here, I now have a search window, and I can just say Sales Manager, and it shows me all entities that have this field. I want to go for account, and I can simply add this. Let me just add like another field. I don't know, just any. You can, before like clicking the close button, you can add as many fields as you want. Click close, reorder them, and then apply the view. So you will get, this is kind of like a preview of what you've set up. What I personally also like for the ones that are working, for example, with Excel Online, before you always had to set up your personal view, you had to save it, and then you could work with Excel Online, because like you had to have the needed columns in there if you wanted to rework them with Excel Online. Doing this without having saved the personal view, I can just like work with Excel Online or export the view without having saved it, which is pretty nice. What I would then do is like, I even got a question like from a customer, which was pretty interesting. Like, okay, I've set up my personal view, so I don't have a save button. Where is the save button? I want to keep it. I don't want to just look at it now. So you would just click on the view with the asterisk, and on the bottom you have the button Save as New View. I'm not going to do that in this case because I've already prepared some views for us. And in the Legacy Advanced Find, you had like in this list kind of like two sections saying like system views and personal views. We don't have that anymore. The personal views are now marked like with this little mannequin icon, which I find pretty nice. It's more clear, and you can easily see how or which ones are the personal views. What I also like very, very much is there is cases where in some entities that you're mainly working with or something, you have a very long list of views available. So you have to scroll down, etc. You now have the option to search for views. So let's say, I don't know, 1 opportunities, and it shows me the views with this name. I like that pretty much. So let's just look into one of the personal views. I mentioned up front, you always had the chance to share views with others, so they don't have to rebuild them for themselves if they also wanted to use them. Excuse me. And in this case, if we wanted to share this view, you would just click on the view name again, and then you have a button, Manage and Share Views. So if I'm going to click on there, you get an overview of all of your views. You can select the view that you want to share, and behind the 3 buttons, you get the Share button. So Daniel, you're going to get a new view. I'm going to share it with you. Daniel Bach. And then I'm going to select him, and I can now decide like, what do I want Daniel to do with this view? In most cases, I say read and share so that he can reshare with others. Write in some cases like that he can modify my personal view, but then it applies also to me. I sometimes use it personally when I say, okay, I don't really know, did I do a mistake, or can you modify my view? Can you help me, for example? Then you give rights to somebody else, and then they can rework your view, and that applies to your view immediately for everybody who has access. Delete, I'm generally like not a fan of like giving delete rights to stuff that I created if I want to keep it, because even by accident, the person that has the delete rights could delete this view. So I'm going to give Daniel read and share rights. I'm going to say share, and then the view is automatically shared and available for Daniel. Just wait, takes a while in this trial instance. Here we go, your changes have been saved. Very good. Maybe I want to check, okay, who has access to my personal view? You could do exactly the same again. You click on the share button, and now you see, okay, this view is shared with Daniel, and you could even like remove the rights afterwards. What else is new? And I mean, the share option has always been available. What is also new is if I hover over my view name, I see this little icon, the hide icon. I mentioned it in the very beginning, like sometimes I set up views that I need, well, occasionally and not at all times. And I don't want to have them in my view list all the time. So you can basically, by one click, either here or behind 3 buttons, there is also a hide option here. You can hide them. And when I do that, and I'm going to go for my lost opportunities, I say apply. And then my view will not show here anymore. If I want to see it again, you do exactly the same thing and you unhide it. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy, super nice feature, in my opinion. What is also new is that we now have the option to sort the order of the views, or I can decide how they should be ordered. Default order is personal before system views in an alphabetical order. I could also say, yeah, my personal views should be at the bottom. So I would say system before personal, or I don't care if it's personal or system views, I just order them in an alphabetical order. So you can basically like personalize that to your requirements or your needs. I was mentioning where to start from. I mean, this is the options that we now have with the modern advanced find, and I like them pretty much. I think they're helpful. And what I've done right now is like I started from the sitemap. There might be entities that you want to have a look at, or that you want to set up an advanced find for, that are not available in your sitemap. So you can go via the Dataverse search. If I click in here, at the bottom, you now have well, let's call it button, search for rows in a table using advanced filters. If I click on it, it gives me an overview of all entities that are enabled for my model-driven app. And let's go for, I don't know, let's go for cases, for example. I select this view. I can even search for the entity name. Say continue. It takes me to my default view of this entity, even though I don't have it available in the sitemap. I can set up my filter and do exactly the same as we've done before. Again, the entities that you want to find in the Dataverse search have to be included in the model-driven app. So you can basically like modify what is or what can be found and what cannot be found in your app settings.